à cette présentation. La première de l'année, je ne sais plus, oui, enfin la première de l'année, 2014. Et nous avons voulu innover un petit peu cette fois-ci. Innover, premièrement pour la salle, en général on faisait chez IBL au 6e étage, on a décidé de le faire ici, dans une salle un peu plus cosy. On a décidé de mettre ensemble donc, les analystes et les journalistes. Je vous remercie donc pour ça, afin qu'on ait peut-être un débat un peu plus interactif. Et enfin, on a également innové en demandant à l'ensemble de nos general managers et key executives, enfin pas l'ensemble parce qu'on a quand même une quarantaine ou une cinquantaine de top exécutifs chez Lux, et les principaux de nous rejoindre aujourd'hui, les directeurs d'hôtel notamment, les directeurs des ressources humaines, les corporate chefs, qui viennent donc compléter l'équipe avec Paul, Désiré et Jules. Donc comme vous avez pu le voir, les résultats sont quand même bons. Je ne vais pas me comparer à la concurrence, vous tirez vos propres analyses. Mais la bonne nouvelle également, c'est que nous avons retrouvé une profitabilité qui permet de faire remonter un peu de cash aux actionnaires, même si c'est pour l'instant encore modeste, mais c'est un signe. C'est le premier dividende de Lux. Naya l'avait payé, beaucoup, pendant longtemps. Mais depuis l'ère Lux, le rebranding, la restructuration financière, c'est la première fois donc que nous sommes en mesure, avec les accords des banques et des cash flows qui sont quand même plus solides, de faire remonter un dividende d'ici fin juin aux actionnaires. Donc sans plus tarder, je vais passer la parole à Paul qui va vous faire une présentation, qui sera complétée, je pense, par Désiré pour la partie financière, et peut-être Julian, on va voir comment ils vont s'échanger les rôles. Et en tout cas, on prendra les questions à la fin, donc si vous pouvez les noter, et on sera très heureux donc, de faire un échange de questions-réponses à la fin. Merci.
Thanks very much, Arno, and welcome everybody. Thanks very much for coming out this afternoon. Sorry about the room. This was the biggest room we could get, and I'm told this is the biggest screen that they've got. It looks a bit small. I told the guy, they should invest in some decent screens. If that's the best screen we can do in Port Louis, the capital of Mauritius, I think we've got a bit of a problem. Anyway,
let's manage this one.
All right. Very good. And thanks very much for I thought rather than do the presentation twice, might be easier just to do it once. So we've incorporated everybody, the financial analysts and the press. So let's go. Our agenda today, we're going to look at the Q3 financial performance. You've already got the numbers, which is, you got them yesterday, so you've had time to do an analysis already. We're going to look at the 9 months, the income statement, and then we're going to give you a little bit of a snapshot of our strategy going forward. Last year we started our group strategic think tank, and in May, and we're going to renew that this year at the end of the month. And well, I must say it certainly worked very well for us this year. So we will be updating our strategic plan, but we thought we'd give you a bit of a preview today, and then we're going to give you an overview of the new projects that we have going forward. Okay, the tourist arrivals, unfortunately, to Mauritius for the quarter were not great. Now, some people will tell you that's because Easter fell this year in April as opposed to March last year, so that in itself created a bit of a difference, and that's true. But if you look at the tourist arrivals to Maldives, you'll see at least they have positive growth out of the UK. But across the board for the quarter was not great for Mauritius. But there is one shining light, and that's China showing a 93% growth albeit off a low base, but it is indicative of what that market has in terms of its potential. And you see in the Maldives also went up by 24%. Now, as always, we have told you what are the key drivers for the hotel industry. And this is worldwide. It doesn't matter if you're in business hotels or resort hotels. There are two key drivers. The first one being occupancy, and the second one being ADR, what we call average daily rate. And the combination of the two give you RevPAR. So what we are interested in, and what most hoteliers that I know anyway worldwide are interested in, is RevPAR growth. And then you can extrapolate the RevPAR growth to gross revenue. In other words, you can take it all the additional revenue, but the key drivers are occupancy, average rate, and the combination of two give you RevPAR. And we have undertaken to give you the changes in both of those in the three jurisdictions where we operate, Mauritius, Maldives, and Reunion, so that you can gauge for yourself how well or not well we're doing in terms of our performance. So here we are. For Mauritius, you'll see our occupancy was flat for the quarter, but our average rate went up for the quarter from almost 6 up to 6.4, which is nice, so a growth of 7%. And because the occupancy was flat and the rate went up, then the RevPAR was 7% here. And the TRevPAR, which is total revenue per available room, was up by 8%, which meant we got a little bit more from the other income. What we call guest night spending in the business, we try and elevate that from the other income that we receive on food and beverage, etc. Maldives, a fantastic performance, growing the occupancy from 81 to 86, and we got a very nice 10% growth in rate in the quarter. So the RevPAR went up by 17. Now, if you get a 17% growth in RevPAR, you're doing extremely well, and the TRevPAR now growing by 13%. So very, very good. And now you'll see our rate there over the 500 mark, which was a psychological mark that we had to cross. But we've done that very well. Reunion, as to be expected, unfortunately, because of, you've seen what's happening in France, and France is the #1 market, we got negative growth in occupancy. However, we were able to grow the average rate. So we've held rate. In fact, we've grown rate. So the worst thing you can do in the business is to lose occupancy and rate. If you do that, it's a total disaster. Then sell your shares if ever you see a company doing that. Definitely recommend a sale. However, we've got, so the combination of the two is 4%. And the decline is mainly in Recife, not in the Lux. So Lux we're about flat, but Recife is where we're feeling the pinch. So for the group, we're flat on occupancy. We've got 10% growth in ADR and an 8% growth in RevPAR. So pretty much in line with what we wanted to do. And then for the group, we went from 71 to 75 in terms of occupancy. ADR went up by 6%, RevPAR by 11%, and TRevPAR by 11%. So those are the Mauritian properties. These are the Maldives properties. You can see amazing growth from the 9 months, up to 80% for the 9 months. And the rate going from 384 to 420. RevPAR, 20% in US dollars. That's the currency in the Maldives. Reunion, Occupancy down by 1 point. Rate we've held, so RevPAR flat. That's for the 9 months. Not too bad. I mean, not great, but at least we're not going backwards for the 9 months. It's not what we want. Obviously, we want to grow, but it's pretty tough. And here's the group, 70 to 73, 3 points. 7% growth in ADR, 12% growth in RevPAR, 10% growth in TRevPAR. There's only one number that you need to look at there, and that's for the 9 months, and that shows 44% growth in earnings per share. The rest is academic. You've seen it. 44% growth in EPS, great stuff. That's what we want. There's the global revenue, 7% growth, 10% growth for the year to date. Profit before tax went up 6% in the quarter, and 51% before tax for the year to date, for the 9 months. So, nice number, 51%. Here's the balance sheet. We're looking, there's obviously no movement on the basically fixed assets, the properties. That's properties depreciation. Current assets went up. That's essentially the debtors, the book. Because that quarter is our high season, obviously your book's running a lot higher than it was at the end of the low season quarter. So you see that quarter ended June, that's low season, and this is the end of high season. So your book is going to be higher. But don't worry, our debtors are what? How many days? 36? Yeah. Give me 1 day, not too bad. Okay. 35 days debtors, not too bad. Very well controlled. Okay, our equity moved. That's the retained earnings. The non-current liabilities, obviously we paid down debt, 300 million. And the current portion, which is here, there's obviously more creditors because we're buying more stuff. Plus that includes the 100 million that we're going to pay down in this current quarter. So we're paying down the debt very nicely. And the gearing, as you see, is down at 53 on an undiluted basis. But if we consider the bonds converted to equity, then we'll come down at 46%. So I think the balance sheet is looking increasingly more healthy. Here's our borrowings, I've just said, come down 300 million. Cash flow obviously going up 23%. Interest cover 3.7. And in my business career, I've always thought that 4 is the number. I don't know what the analysts consider, but a good interest cover would be 4. So we're almost there. We're at 3.7. So 4 times, not too bad. Okay, so those are the numbers. So now we come to the strategy. But I don't want to start with the strategy. I want to talk about something which to me is more important. A lot of people ask me, what's your secret at Lux? I even had a couple of calls this morning. How did you do it? Your competitors, this, that, and the other, and whatever. And I always talk about one thing, and that's people. A lot of people talk about people in the hospitality business. But it is about people. But the question is, how many companies actually put their money where their mouth is? And how many really believe that it's all about people? Well, I want to just show you. This guy came to Mauritius a couple of weeks ago. I've worked with him before in Mauritius, Tom Peters. And he says that training is investment number 1. I really believe that, and I know that all our general managers who are here believe that. And what Tom says is that obviously if you're a policeman or a fireman or a violin player or a you know, you're an actor or you're you're a footballer, you do training, right? But how many businesses really put training as a number one item on their strategic agenda? But at Lux Resorts, we don't train because we have to, we train because we really need to. So we're investing in our people. And what's interesting is that our target for this year was 60 hours of training per team member by the end of this financial year. So, what have we done? That's just a quote. We've actually going to finish up with 66 hours per team member. So what I did, asked Desiree, I said, listen, is there a correlation between the number of hours training and the revenue? And I think there is. So if you want to know what revenue we're going to do in the next financial year, ask the lady who's responsible for training, how many hours are we targeting for each team member? And she's at the back here. Smita, if you'll just stand up. This lady is responsible for the training throughout the group, does an amazing job. And she's the one who's responsible for this graph. So I like to think that this and that correlate. So maybe you have a chat with her after and ask her how many hours training with budgeting for the next financial year, and then you can extrapolate it for your revenue and your profit projections. Anyway, I'm very passionate about this stuff, as you can see. Our people who are here, the general managers, Smita certainly, and Nicholas, who's our group human resource also. We want to educate our people so that they're more confident, so that they have, they're better at doing what they have to do, and they're acquiring new skills, and therefore able to deliver better service. And you know, sometimes people ask me, is Mauritius still what it used to be? And you know, most of you know, I've been around for a long time in Mauritius, and I really think it is. I think the Mauritians are very special people. They have a lot to offer, but you've got to help them, you know, really release and deliver this special service that is unique in the world. Okay, so we spoke about in one release, we talked about this platform for growth, and then we said that we created these 6 pillars, and each of the pillars for growth, revenues, cost, people, experience, brand and distribution, and development. We had 3 major objectives for each of those pillars, and all of that has been implemented. We said that execution is the critical thing, and our target was double-digit growth in EBITDA. Obviously, we put a number to that. I can't tell you what the number is, but we have a number. The good news is we're going to do the number. So many of you can guess what the number is, but I can't tell you. Desiree keeps reminding me that the stock exchange rules. But double-digit growth, I can definitely tell you. So we're very happy with what we've done this past 9 months, because we've improved the financial stability of the company. We've definitely improved the experience, and that's critical, because you don't get financial stability if you don't have a great experience. So we're always focusing on the experience. And how can we differentiate? It's all about differentiation. We've recently had Michael Porter. All he spoke about is differentiation. Differentiate or die, he said. Same with Tom Peters. Same thing. Everybody says the same, you know, the same. We appointed a Chief Innovation Officer. We have an Innovation Challenge. Right now we're having the semi-finals. So we're constantly looking for how do we innovate. It was interesting, I was watching CNN early this morning. Who's that guy who speaks very loud on CNN? What's his name? Anyway, he's from England. But
Richard Quest.
Richard Quest. So Richard Quest takes you into the basement of Marriott hotels, and there they have all these test kitchen bedrooms all set up where they're trying to innovate for different rooms. And he was talking about innovation. And it's true. Everybody's trying to innovate so that you can give a better experience and you can stand out from a crowded marketplace. So that's what we're doing. And so where are we going next? Well, obviously we want to go for growth. And our strategy for 2017 is we want to operate in new territories. We want to manage new types of product. And we want to premiumize the brand. That's critical for us, those three things. Now, operate in new territories. Currently, we're in Mauritius and Reunion. We're in the Maldives. We've signed a management contract here in Ajman in the United Arab Emirates, and also in the Yunnan province of southwest China. And the yellow dots are where we'd like to go. So we'd like to be certainly more in the Indian Ocean and the East African region, possibly more in the Maldives. Definitely we can put a dot here in that UAE GCC area because that's very high growth going into the World Expo. And then Southeast Asia we see as a very high growth region. The biggest pipeline of hotels in the world is currently in China. So it's no surprise that we've been focusing on China as a major target for our growth. Now, manage new types of product. What do I mean by that? Well, we got together with our branding expert and we said, can Lux successfully operate in different regions, in different places? And you know, currently we're a beach, we're an island operator, we're a beach operator. Can we operate in mountains or cities or whatever? So we did quite a number of tests, and then he came back and we came back and Julian was involved, and we said, yeah, effectively what Lux stands for is light. We bring light to the beach, so we bring light to the mountain, we can bring light to the city. You know, we can even bring starlight. Whatever. You know, there's a lot of different ways that we can operate our properties. So, we talk about Lux as being light luxury. We've always said that from the launch in December 2011, that we're lightweight and we're light-hearted. So it's a lighter form of luxury. And it's all about the life, the nature, the culture. And so we call this the locale. So the locale plus the light gives us locale light. So in other words, it's the place which could be a beach, could be a mountain, could be a city, but we take the two together, the place and the experience. And that's really what Lux is all about. So, we're unveiling today, for the first time, publicly, we're going to rebaptize ourselves for the third time. We went from Lux Island Resorts to Lux Resorts. Now we're going to be Lux, not hotels and resorts like every other hotel company, but because of our history, because of our roots, we're going to be Lux Resorts and Hotels. A little bit different. Why not? You've got to differentiate so people will remember you. So, Lux Resorts and Hotels on the beach, in the city, and in the nature. So, it could be in the mountain. But, we said, what is at the heart of everything that we do? What we call our DNA. So, we've got three things. We've got service, we've got hardware, and we've got software. We always said at the beginning, it's not about the hardware. It's more about the software and it's about the service. So we've spent the last 3 years working extremely hard on those two elements, service and software. I mean, the truth be known, we didn't have the money to go back into the hardware. I'm honest. But now we've got a little bit more money, so we're going back into the hardware, which is what I said in the release. We've gone back, fixing up the properties, and now I'll show you a little bit later what we're doing at the Belmont. But what's this DNA word? Well, the DNA is all about two things. Banish thoughtless patterns and be simple, fresh and sensory. Now what does banish thoughtless patterns mean? The hotel industry globally is the slowest to innovate. There are so many things that we do repetitively. We've all been to hotel school, we all get taught the same things. We graduate from hotel school and we keep repeating what's been done since the time of César Ritz and Auguste Escoffier and I don't know whoever else. These two guys are French. The French don't, they're not the only hoteliers, there's some Italian hoteliers as well. But everybody seems to be doing the same thing for years. Not too much innovation, not too much change. We at Lux, we want to throw all of that out, and we only want to retain what is great, what is different. But not different for different sake, but different because it's better. It's a better experience. So, and then be simple. People don't like complicated things. People like simple things. And people want freshness. And people want to excite the senses. So it's what you look at, what you smell, what you touch, what you hear. So this is all that's important. Now our hardware, it's got to be original, striking, light-footed, architecture and design. These are the things that in our new properties we'll be focusing more and more on. And again, with our existing properties, as we go back in, we will always do something that's different. Now, the other day I was attending a design meeting about the Belmont. So they come in and they say, you know, here's the plan, doctor, whatever, for the landscape. I said, what do you mean, doctor, landscape? It's going to be the same as every hotel in Mauritius. Why do you want to be the same as everybody else? It's hopeless. If you're the same as everybody else, it's no good. You've got to be different. So you've got to come up with something that's different and better. So this is what we do in Lux. We keep challenging ourselves and challenging everybody in the group to do it different, better, different, better. It's critical. Otherwise, you know, you're not going to set yourself apart from everybody else. Now, on the software side, this is the nature, the culture of the place. There, definitely, it's critical to ensure that you respect the culture, the nature of where you're operating, and make sure you bring it out in so many different ways. And then make it lightweight and light-hearted. And then the service, as you know, we've spent a lot of time and energy. I've spoken about the training, but it's not just the training. How do we make our service different? You know, we've taken old Ron Kaufman, many of you know him. We still have these reading groups every 3 weeks with him. How do we make it different? How do we make it spontaneous? How do people, when they arrive, they really see that there's a difference? I spend hours reading our TripAdvisor comments for all our hotels. And I love it, you know, when I read what the guests say about their experience. And then I get on my phone we have a thing called Market Metrics. It gives me, in real time, the guest feedback. And most of our guests fill it in. And you're looking and they're telling you what's going on. And then I'm on the phone with the managers, driving them nuts. But that's very important. Because if you're going to improve, you've got to measure. If you don't measure, you're not going to improve. So the combination of those two things keeps everybody on their toes, because we want to be shiny. So there it is, Lux Resorts and Hotels. I want to just backtrack a little bit and talk about the language of luxury today. You recall that we had a lot of colours with Lux, and you know, this now is moving away from too much colour to a little more sober representation of luxury. And these are some images that we've taken. So we're gonna actually tone down our look and feel. And when I say premiumize, we want to take it up a few notches. We think it's essential. So we're going to create a different language. We're not going too far away from where we are, but we just want to create this premium look and feel with the brand. So premiumize, because this is where we are today, sort of on the cusp of the 5-star. And we've said this is what we want to operate. And this is a positioning chart. So we want to take it up there. Not going crazy, because we want to be relevant. People don't want ostentatious luxury anymore. There are a few folks, Russia, Italy, some of these guys want the bling bling, But most people, and definitely in our market, they want something that's, more human scale luxury, I would say. So that's what we want to do. We want to give ourselves a fresh new start. So we're finishing off this property. I mean, I love this property now. I'll love it even more in September. We're going to do the next analyst in Belmont and Press, because I think it's going to be pretty amazing. So what are we doing? Well, old Kelly, she's been very patient. I can't remember when we started this renovation, but I think it was at least 2 to 3 years ago. We could only do what we could afford. But, I think she's done a magnificent job. The feedback we've had from our guests is just amazing. So we're just going to finish it all off, including all the public areas. We're going to create some very exciting food and beverage concepts. We're doing a lot of work in the rooms. We're going to upgrade the Wi-Fi. We've always given Wi-Fi free. I can't understand any hotel that charges you for Wi-Fi. It's nuts. It's ridiculous. But we're going high speed because everybody wants to connect. Everybody wants to get online. We're going to put in 48-inch LED screens, and we're going to have an interactive TV system, movie on demand, 1 million channels. It's going to recognize if you're Russian, Chinese, English, French, or whatever you are. Your whole experience is going to be customized to the language. Our spa, we're going to completely redo, and we've got some very exciting, innovative elements in that spa. We're doing Chinese traditional medicine treatments that we're going to introduce for the opening of Belmont. We've had people in training in China. We've signed up a deal with an operator in China, so we're bringing that. We're doing a Chinese tea lounge. We're creating new treatment rooms. We're offering new treatments. We're doing a whole retail experience. We're increasing the number of products that we sell. We're going to have a whole testing station. We just generally, this spa is going to be pretty amazing. Oh, we're also in the wedding business. We do a lot of weddings. We even got Chinese wedding service there with photography and everything. So you can see we're doing a bridal boutique and salon. And we're doing a fantastic fitness center with the latest equipment from from Technogym that has not yet been released in the Indian Ocean. Our buffet, old Walter, stand up, Walter. He's our corporate chef. Well, also does food and beverage, but he's busy working on the whole food experience in what we call in the business the 3-meal restaurant, which is the buffet. It's going to be a great outlet, very interactive, have different cuisines, Chinese, Indian, Middle Eastern, French, you name it, it's all going to happen there. And we're going to put in a massive bakery and pastry place, which I think will be superb. Then we've got a fabulous restaurant called Duck Laundry, where we're going to serve all the derivatives of duck and some great Chinese food. Our goal for that has got to be the best #1 Chinese restaurant. And then we're going to sign up a Michelin star chef, and we're going to have the best Indian restaurant in Mauritius. So remember what I said, the place, the culture, the nature. So we're trying to bring in what's representative of Mauritius. Chinese culture, Indian culture, and we're going to have these fantastic restaurant experiences, which already we launched Beach Rouge. I don't know if anybody's been there, but it's been a big hit right on the beach. We're going to put in a wine room, and we're also doing a lot of stuff for the team members. Oh, the Ashish, who's here, the general manager with Pascal, they're going to do a whole different experience for all our team members because they're doing such a magnificent job at this project. Now, talking about new projects, here we've got on this side all the beach resorts. In the middle we've got the city hotels, and here we've got the nature. So these are, we don't have these are just theoretical, Hong Kong and Chengdu. We don't have those, but one day soon we may be filling up that quadrant, and these are the nature. Obviously we don't have Kruger Park, but we do have the T-Horse Road. So this is how we're going to be looking at the Lux Resorts and Hotels family. Okay, just to talk about Alzora. This is an amazing site. It's a beach site, but at the back you've got mangroves. So you've got flamingos, you've got lots of wildlife. It's really fabulous. This is the beach. It's in Ajman. It's 35 minutes from the airport, Dubai Airport, and it's our architect is Jean-Michel Gatti. He hasn't done a hotel in Dubai, but the amazing thing is that 8 of the top 12 hotels that were opened last year were designed by Jean-Michel Gatti worldwide. I mean, he opened the Louis Vuitton place in Maldives, the one in Switzerland at Zermatt, and he's doing Amman, quite a few Amman properties. I mean, Jean-Michel is just quite amazing. So we're going to have 202 rooms, suites and private villas. We'll have a beach rouge, we'll have a Café Lux. All the things that we've been doing here is all going to be replicated in this property. And again, we're going to have a fabulous spa. In fact, what we're doing there is we're going to have a whole a hotel within a hotel. It's going to be adults only, 38 keys. On the ground floor is the spa, and then the rest of the floors are adults only. There will be an adult-only pool, so we're very excited about that concept. So that's the rear of the site, and there's a Jack Nicklaus 18-hole golf course at the back. There's a marina, and there's a harbour. We're also going to be operating 50 branded residences on site, and next door there's going to be 60 not unbranded residences which we will also manage. So it's a big project. Piling starts in July. Design is advanced. We're busy doing the mock-up room. These are renderings from the room. Now the room is very unusual because what we've done is we've gone linear with the bathroom, and this meaning the bathroom runs the whole length of the room. So your bath is right at the window. So you've got light there. It's really nice, very sexy room. And this is a standard room. Fantastic. So we're innovating. So this is Al Zora. It should open in end of 15, beginning of 16. So it'll start generating some management fees in 16. Then we got the Lux Tea Horse Road. In Chinese is Cha Ma Da. This is the year of the horse, so we think this is quite relevant that we got involved with the Tea Horse Road. I've spent a bit of time there. It's some of the world's most dramatic scenery. It's quite amazing. And this is what it is. What happened is that this is the tea growing area. They have this pu'er tea, which if anybody takes statins to control your cholesterol, this tea has the natural chemical inside. And the Chinese were bringing the tea all the way up to Tibet on horses, and then taking the salt back from Tibet down back into the southwest part of China. It is quite a fascinating region, as you can see. It's very dramatic. And this is the road here. So the vision of the chairman of this company is to literally create a series of boutique hotels of between 30 and 100 keys along this road. And there's very few operators. There's one other operator who's done a couple of the places. There is another example of this in Bhutan. Aman Resorts have 5 properties in Bhutan, and they created the journey. So we're going to create a very similar journey in this dramatic scenery. So this is what we envisage somebody in the year 2016 will be saying over the next 10 days as we drove through the snow-capped mountains and valleys into the ever remoter areas of the Yunnan province. The 21st century would recede even further until we reached our destination, a land dubbed by the Chinese as the fabled Shangri-La. So it's a pretty romantic notion, and Lux is going to brand it. We've already registered the website, the Lux Tea Horse Road, the Lux Cha Ma Da. This is what we think that Condé Nast will be saying in the year 2016, one of the great journeys of the world associated with our brand. This is all about how we're going to build out our brand across the world. So it's all about the place, which in this case is the mountains, and it really does look like that. It's stunning. It's not a great photograph, it's an amateur photograph, unfortunately, but we get some decent ones. But this, I went there, I mean, it's just phenomenal. It's they call it the Omega Bend, and this is the Yangtze River. So you've got these plateaus, we've got the rice terraces. This is Lugu Lake. We'll be looking at operating property at Lugu Lake. Currently, it takes 6.5 hours to drive to Lugu Lake from Lijiang. They're building an airport. It'll open in 2 years. The amazing thing is that in China, they've already built all the infrastructure, the roads, the tunnels, and they're building airports like, you know, every year, 5 or 6 airports open in China. It's crazy. Here, the valleys, the hiking. This is the Tiger Leaping Gorge. Old Walter went down there, and then he got a bit worried because when he had to go back up, the ladder was vertical. It was a bit scary, but you can do it and not do that. You can also do a bit of rafting as well. So you can just imagine not sure I want to go rafting in that river. But it's very dramatic. So it's all about nature and the adventure, and Lux brings light to that. But it's also about the people. Now in China you've got 56 minorities. They call them minorities, so they're different tribal people. The main people of China are called the Han, the H-A-N people. And then you've got these 56 minorities. 24 of them, I think, live in this region. This is an example of the Nashi. This is the Bulang. These are the Bai. And in fact, the chairman of the company, he has this show in Lijiang where all these minorities put on an amazing show. This is a picture of Lijiang, ancient town. It's it's a UNESCO site, and it's quite amazing. I think somewhere close to 10 million arrivals there every year. It's just a phenomenal place. I mean, this is a village called Baisha. And they have all this produce. They do a bit of chili as well. And the food. When you go there, you can't believe. You go to Lijiang, you will not believe the food. It's just every imaginable food you see it all. They have a thing there. They eat dinner at 6, and then they eat barbecue at about 10 or 11. They never stop eating. Anyway, this is the tea, quality, craft. This is an orchestra. But it's also about the spirit. And we think it's a spiritual journey as well, because you've obviously got Buddhism. This is one monastery, the Dan Drupling Monastery. You've got all these guys with the different... he put his hat on for us so we could take this picture. It's a famous monastery in there's a place called Shangri-La as well. Fortunately, the old town was burnt down in January, but they're busy rebuilding it. So it's all about karma and prayers and inspiration. So there are a lot of reasons to go there. You just get caught up in this whole bit of yoga as well, contemplation. So our vision for this is, it's the place with the nature and the adventure. It's the people with the customs and the culture. And it's the spirit, the discovery and practice. So you see, we're taking this light, the lightness of Lux, and we're not exporting it from Mauritius. We're just replicating it in a different way, in a different environment, in a different country. And so our vision really, our Lux Tea Horse Road, a passage through southwest China on which the world's most adventurous and discerning travelers will explore and experience the natural, cultural and spiritual wonders of Greater Shangri-La. A journey to stimulate mind, body and soul. So it's different. You've got the beach and you've got the nature. Okay, so that's a snapshot of where we're going in the future, and we're very excited about it. Any questions?